In late 2013, the Fast and Furious production team faced a crisis following the sudden, tragic death of actor Paul Walker. The studio needed a track for a 3-minute ending scene. It had to serve as a genuine farewell to a beloved friend, while also functioning as a commercial pop anthem to close out a billion-dollar film. They opened the floor to the music industry. 50 different established songwriters and producers submitted attempts to capture that specific tone. All of them failed. The studio was left with a glaring creative deficit. The industry's seasoned veterans could not solve Hollywood's most pressing emotional problem. The solution came from a 23-year-old unknown songwriter named Charlie Puth. On just his second day working in Los Angeles, Puth sat down and wrote a hook in 11 minutes. Paired with verses from rapper Khalifa, that 11-minute session became See You Again. It spent 12 weeks at #1 on the Billboard charts and broke global streaming records. Puth tapped into 2 distinct sources for the lyrics. He imagined what Vin Diesel's final text message to Walker might say, and he channeled his own grief over a friend who died during the Boston Marathon tragedy. Curiously, Puth and Khalifa wrote a track explicitly about 2 highly isolated personal losses, yet billions of strangers across the globe felt an immediate connection to it. The reason this song bridges the gap between a private loss and global grief is mathematically hidden within a field of linguistics known as pragmatics. Pragmatics is the study of how context influences meaning in language. Within that field is a structural concept called deixis. Deictic words are linguistic placeholders. Words like here, me, or tomorrow don't have fixed definitions. Their entire meaning depends strictly on who is speaking, where they are, and when the word is spoken. A study published in the English Journal of Indragiri approached the track's lyrics as a forensic dataset. Researchers analyzed the text to isolate the structural pillars that define the song. Looking at this table tracking the linguistic markers, the researchers found 343 distinct instances of deixis. This heavy concentration reveals exactly how the lyrics guide a listener's empathy. One tool dominates the entire track. Person deixis appears 262 times. The song opens with the line, "It's been a long day without you, my friend." The pronouns I, my, and you act as empty linguistic vessels. Notice what is missing. Puth omits specific proper nouns entirely. The lyrics never say Paul or Vin. By relying on deixis instead of names, the song requires the listener to fill in the blanks. You naturally project yourself into the I and your own lost loved one into the you. This reliance on second-person pronouns forces an artificial intimacy. It transforms a Hollywood tribute into a private diary entry written for whoever is listening. The linguistic manipulation extends to the physical world, utilizing 59 instances of temporal deixis, which deals with time, and 15 instances of spatial deixis, which deals with location. Take the lyric, "We have come a long way from where we began." Using the spatial marker where establishes a shared journey. It implies a physical distance traveled together, without ever naming a real-world geographic location. And when the chorus hits the line, "When I see you again," the temporal marker when deliberately pulls the listener out of a painful current state and promises a hopeful future context. Together, these spatial and temporal markers map out a sweeping emotional timeline. By removing all specific narrative friction, the song becomes a universally applicable template for grief. A final linguistic layer ties the structure together, discourse deixis. This involves words that point back to earlier parts of the conversation, like the lyric, "And that bond will never be broken." That refers backward to the relationship established in the previous lines. It creates a cohesive emotional loop, locking the listener securely inside the narrative reality the song has just built. Khalifa and Charlie Puth provided the musicality and raw vocal emotion, but the historic success of See You Again relies on its pragmatic structure. A truly great pop song uses the subconscious power of language to rewrite its own lyrics inside the listener's mind. So when we cry at a massive hit song, we have ultimately fallen for the invisible architecture of human empathy.